Hey guys, it's Ellie. Welcome back to Bite-Sized Book of Mormon. I'm glad to have you with me. So if you've never been here before, this is just a podcast where we read through one chapter of the Book of Mormon each episode, and to give a little bit of context, a little bit of insight, a little bit of good times. So stick around. So if you remember last episode, we read Alma chapter 53, which is where we are introduced to the Stripling warriors. They are the sons of the Anti-Nephi-Lehis, who are the ones that made a covenant that they would never fight again, and the Anti-Nephi-Lehis are seeing the war effort that the Nephites are putting forth, and they really want to help out, and they in fact almost break their covenant to do so, but then their sons step up, 2,000 of them in fact, and they decide, we are going to help because our parents can't, because they covenanted with God that they would never fight again. And so, welcome to the Stripling warriors. These young kids, maybe even as young as 13, are now going to help with the war effort, so let's see how they do. But yeah, I think without further ado, let's read Alma chapter 54. And now it came to pass in the commencement of the 29th year of the judges that Ammoron sent unto Moroni desiring that he would exchange prisoners. And it came to pass that Moroni felt to rejoice exceedingly at this request, for he desired the provisions which were imparted for the support of the Lamanite prisoners for the support of his own people, and he also desired his own people for the strengthening of his army. Now the Lamanites had taken many women and children, and there was not a woman nor a child among all the prisoners of Moroni, or the prisoners whom Moroni had taken. Therefore Moroni resolved upon a stratagem to obtain as many prisoners of the Nephites from the Lamanites as it were possible. Therefore he wrote an epistle and sent it by the servant of Ammoron, the same who had brought an epistle to Moroni. Now these are the words which he wrote unto Ammoron, saying... Sorry, we're not going to finish that sentence right away, but this is the setup for the chapter. Ammoron approaches Moroni. So the Lamanite king is approaching the Nephite general and is like, hey, we should trade prisoners. And you know what's kind of wild? Is that the prisoners that the Lamanites took include women and children, and the Nephites did not take a single woman nor a child. The Lamanites are playing dirty here. They were not worried about who they took as long as they took a Nephite. And so, that is why Moroni is trying to be strategic when it comes to this prisoner exchange, because the Lamanites have so many women and children. He wants to get back as many as he possibly can, because he doesn't want them to be taken by the Lamanites. He wants them back safe in their cities, where they're protected behind fortifications and the Nephite army. Like, holy crap. And so, let's see what Moroni puts in his epistle, or his letter, that he sends to the king of the Lamanites to try and stratagem his way to get the most prisoners possible. Behold, Ammoron, I have written unto you somewhat concerning this war which ye have waged against my people, or rather which thy brother hath waged against them, and which ye are still determined to carry on after his death. Behold, I will tell you somewhat concerning the justice of God, and the sword of his almighty wrath, which doth hang over you, except ye repent and withdraw your armies into your own lands, or the land of your possessions, which is the land of Nephi. Yea, I would tell you these things, if ye were capable of hearkening unto them. Yea, I would tell you concerning that awful hell that awaits to receive such murderers as thou and thy brother have been, except ye repent and withdraw your murderous purposes, and return with your armies to your own lands. But as ye have once rejected these things, and have fought against the people of the Lord, even so I may expect ye will do it again. And now behold, we are prepared to receive you, yea, and except you withdraw your purposes, behold, ye will pull down the wrath of that God whom ye have rejected upon you, even to your utter destruction. So Moroni doesn't lead with, hey, give me back our prisoners. He leads with, you started this war against us, and you are going to be thrust down to hell by God. Or rather, I would tell you that, if you were going to listen. But I know you, and I know what you have done, and I know that you are not going to listen to the words of God, and so you're just properly screwed. I just kind of love how he words it, where he's like, I know what you and your brother have done, and I know that you're going to do it again. He's not trying to see the best in these people. He's trying to be realistic with these people. He's trying to be like, hey, I know you. I understand you. And I know what your eternal destiny is. But you don't, because you won't listen. And the wrath of that God you rejected is going to come down upon you if you don't repent. And he says all that and he's like, or I would tell you that if you were going to listen. But you aren't. What a strong opener. And again, the first sentence out of his mouth in the epistle is, this war that you have waged upon us. He's like, you are attacking us. You are the aggressor. You're the problem here. So anyways, Moroni is coming out of the gate on this epistle, guns blazing. He is letting Ammoron know exactly what he thinks. But as the Lord liveth, our armies shall come upon you, except ye withdraw, and ye shall soon be visited with death, for we will retain our cities and our lands, yea, and we will maintain our religion and the cause of our God. But behold, it supposeth me that I talk to you concerning these things in vain, or it supposeth me that thou art a child of hell. Therefore, I will close my epistle by telling you that I will not exchange prisoners, save it be on conditions that ye will deliver up a man and his wife and his children for one prisoner. If this be the case that ye will do it, I will exchange. And behold, if ye do not this, I will come against you with my armies, yea, even I will arm my women and my children, and I will come against you, and I will follow you, even into your own land, which is the land of our first inheritance, yea, and it shall be blood for blood, yea, life for life, and I will give you battle even until you are destroyed from off the face of the earth. Behold, I am in my anger, and also my people. Ye have sought to murder us, and we have only sought to defend ourselves. But behold, if ye seek to destroy us more, we will seek to destroy you. Yea, and we will seek our land, the land of our first inheritance. Now I close my epistle. I am Moroni. I am leader of the people of the Nephites. How extremely metal of him. To be like, because of this wrath of God that is hanging down upon you, he will not have mercy on you, and neither will I. We are going to attack you if you don't stop attacking us. And because I'm so mad at you, I will not exchange prisoners. Unless, and this is Moroni's strategy that he mentions in the very beginning, unless one of my prisoners is equal to one of your prisoners with his wife and children. So again, this is why Moroni is writing the letter this way. He's leading with a lot of aggression and anger just to prove that he is serious when he says, I will not exchange with you unless you agree to my conditions. He's making that threat of not doing the prisoner exchange at all very, very believable by starting out so aggressively by saying, you are going to go to hell, basically. And then he closes the chapter by saying, if you don't stop attacking us, we will go and take back the lands of our first inheritance, which is where you live, and we will destroy you the same way that you're destroying us. Holy crap. Moroni is being aggressive. We don't usually see him talk first person because we usually read records about Captain Moroni, but this time we are hearing him speak with his own voice. This is his own writings by his own hand. And holy crap is he intense. What a guy. This is the same guy that killed thousands of dissenters within the Nephite ranks in order to maintain unity and strength when fighting the Lamanites. So he is in fact a very intense person. That's probably partially why he's successful. But anyways, that was fascinating. And now we're going to get a response from Ammoron. So let's see what the king of the Lamanites himself pens with his own hand, shall we? Now it came to pass that Ammoron, when he had received this epistle, was angry, and he wrote another epistle unto Moroni, and these are the words which he wrote, saying, I am Ammoron, the king of the Lamanites. I am the brother of Amalickiah, whom ye have murdered. Behold, I will avenge his blood upon you, yea, and I will come upon you with my armies, for I fear not your threatenings. For behold, your fathers did wrong their brethren, insomuch that they did rob them of their right to the government, when it rightly belonged unto them. And now behold, if ye will lay down your arms and subject yourselves to be governed by those to whom the government doth rightly belong, then will I cause that my people shall lay down their weapons, and we shall be at war no more. Behold, ye have breathed out many threatenings against me and my people, but behold, we fear not your threatenings. Nevertheless, I will grant to exchange prisoners according to your request gladly, that I may preserve my food for my men of war, and we will wage a war which shall be eternal, either to the subjecting the Nephites to our authority, or to their eternal extinction. And as concerning that God whom ye say we have rejected, behold, we know not such a being, neither do ye. But if it so be that there is such a being, we know not, but that he hath made us as well as you. And if it so be that there is a devil and a hell, behold, will he not send you there to dwell with my brother whom ye have murdered, whom ye have hinted that he hath gone to such a place? But behold, these things matter not. I am Ammoron, and a descendant of Zoram, whom your fathers pressed and brought out of Jerusalem. And behold now, I am a bold Lamanite. Behold, this war hath been waged to avenge their wrongs, and to maintain and obtain the rights to the government, and I close my epistle to Moroni. Did you catch that? Oh my goodness. So in this epistle from Ammoron, in verse 17, he mentions that the Nephites robbed the Lamanites of their right to government. Do you know what that's referring to? That is referring to how Laman and Lemuel felt slighted by their brother Nephi in 1st Nephi. This chapter happens around 63 BC. The event they're talking about happened about 550 years before. It has been centuries, and the Lamanites are still harping on about how they felt slighted by Nephi. Holy crap. I feel like this story has just become cemented in their collective mythology, and now that is just how the Lamanites see the Nephites, as people that took the power from the rightful holders of it, which were Laman and Lemuel. That's true, traditionally it would have been Laman and Lemuel, but Laman and Lemuel sucked. So, of course it went to Nephi, because he was just better. Anyways, it is wild to me that they're still talking about this. It has been so freaking long. Let it die. But anyways, it is fascinating how Ammoron talks about God. In verses 21 and 22, he says, "We know not such a being, neither do ye." That is actually almost word for word what a different false prophet or false Christ that went among the Nephites said. I can't remember which one it was probably Korihor, but he said something along the lines of, "I don't know that there is a God, and neither do you." He's like, you don't really believe that there is a God, you know? And so this is definitely like false prophet behavior that Ammoron is putting on here, which is interesting because, again, Ammoron used to be a Nephite. He is a dissenter. He is not a Lamanite. Even though he's a Lamanite king, he used to be a Nephite. And so he might have actually heard those words from Korihor's mouth, who knows? But that would have been interesting, right? That would have been so cool. But also, when Ammoron talks about God and hell, like in verse 22, he says, "And if it so be that there is a devil in a hell, behold, will he not send you there to dwell with my brother whom ye have murdered?" So he's like, you're saying there's a hell, and you're saying that me and my brother are gonna go there. But you'll be there too, because you murdered my brother. When he is in fact missing the fact that had Amalickiah stayed alive, he would have been the means of killing thousands more Nephites than he did. He killed enough. It was time for him to go, because he was just mowing people down. He had no end in sight, and he was one of the most power-hungry people that we have met in the Book of Mormon. And I'm sure that Ammoron is only second best to him. But anyways, the most interesting thing about this epistle to me is how he ends it. He says at the beginning of verse 24, "And behold now, I am a bold Lamanite." So I mentioned last chapter how the stripling warriors took upon themselves the name of Nephites, even though they're technically anti-Nephi Lehis. Once they joined the battle and waged war against the Lamanites for liberty, they felt identity enough with the Nephites to call themselves such. So names and identities really matter to these people. And Ammoron, like I just mentioned, is technically a Nephite. He grew up among the Nephites, he was raised there, and yet he dissented, and now he calls himself not just a Lamanite, but a bold Lamanite. He has thoroughly changed his identity and changed who he sees himself as to become a Lamanite, and he is proud of it. So that should definitely tell you something about how Ammoron sees himself and how he understands the dichotomy of Lamanite versus Nephite. And also it's kind of hilarious to me that he's like, hey, you took our right to govern, when in fact he's ancestrally a Nephite. Technically speaking, his people are the ones that stole the right to govern from the Lamanites. He's not a Lamanite. But anyways, oh my goodness, this is such a fascinating chapter, and it's so interesting to see how these two very high-powered people in the society interact, and how they're kind of posturing and threatening each other and trying to keep the other one intimidated more than they're intimidated. Anyways, oh my goodness, it is so interesting. I love it when we get to read letters in the Book of Mormon. It really kind of puts you in a much more personal space than you usually get to read in the Book of Mormon. Usually it's a lot more of like a record of stuff that happened by some third writer, but these epistles are written by the hand of Captain Moroni and Ammoron himself. And that makes it that much more personal, right? It kind of puts you right in the action, which I think is really, really cool. So the standout verse for this chapter is going to be verse 10, which says, But as the Lord liveth, our armies shall come upon you, except ye withdraw, and ye shall soon be visited with death, for we will retain our cities and our lands, yea, and we will maintain our religion and the cause of our God. So this chapter is just reminding us, both Ammoron and us as the reader, the reason behind it all. Like, why does Captain Moroni care so much about this war? He could just give up and accept being subject to the Lamanites. But the reason that he will not allow that as an option is because that would mean their religion would get snuffed out entirely. They would lose the right to praise and worship their God. And so he's doing this to protect the religion and to protect the integrity of that religious freedom that they hold. So again, that is the purpose of all of this. It is not just generals posturing at each other trying to intimidate the other. It is not just fighting back and forth for the sake of fighting. It is fighting to defend God and to defend his cause among the people. And that is what really matters about all the war chapters, is what it is all for. So yeah, that is the episode for today. I hope you enjoyed. It's definitely kind of fun peeking into these people's mail, isn't it? Anyways, we didn't break any postal laws by reading these letters because there were no postal laws. Anyways, yeah, there's just a few links down in the show notes that I want to let you know about. The first one is a quick let me know what you learned link, so if you want to shoot me a message and chat with me, you can go ahead and do that there, or you can DM me on Instagram, either way. Next, there are a handful of links to access a digital copy of the Book of Mormon, so if you want to access that to make a study plan or to find a chapter that you like or a verse that you like, you can go ahead and click those down below. Next, there's a quick support the show link, so if you want to shoot me a few dollars and support what I do, that would be greatly appreciated. Next, we are on YouTube, so if you want to go subscribe to the YouTube channel, you can find the podcast there twice a week, and you can also find some YouTube shorts that I'll be putting up. And finally, we are on Instagram, so if you want to find me where I'm the most active, go ahead and follow me there. I post stories, I post reels, I post trivia. It's a good time. So yeah, see you there. But yeah, that is all I've got for you today. I'll talk to you later. Bye.